Well, look who's still here. I'm still here. I'm still here, obviously. That's a good thing. You guys are still watching here. Obviously, it's been a while. Um, so, how's it been? For me, it's been about 4 weeks. 4 weeks since. I had to really go back and take some notes on what I've been doing and where things have been. And there's a lot I could talk about. But I think the primary reason why I'm making this video again is to kind of just help gauge myself, kind of make an examination of myself since there's a whole lot of news as far as COVID-19. I'm going to spare that. I have been following, but I've also been kind of distancing myself from the news as much, just kind of reading it but not commenting on it, just kind of swallowing those pills as you will and taking it as it goes. But wow, 4 weeks. What has happened since? Well, part of the reason why I have been making videos is I've been more or less been staying busy up until about the last 4 or 5 days, which I felt kind of a slump coming on, which I guess you can say that's where I'm at. I'm at a slump. That's why I'm making this video, to kind of bring myself back a little bit. But for about a good solid 2-3 weeks, I was pretty wrapped up in my own thing. I was doing my walks nearly every day. About every third or fourth day, I'd go on a run/walk. I come to a point to where my legs were starting to ache like every day. That's why I took a couple days off, which I think contributed to my slump, because when you're not physically active, you kind of, I perceive, or maybe many people can attest to this, that you kind of slump also mentally and all that stuff. So, again, back to the jump start. Aside from my runs and walks, I've been watching quite a bit of shows. Not quite a bit of shows, but I guess you could say I wrapped up a lot of shows. I mentioned that my girlfriend and I watched Game of Thrones. We finally wrapped that up. That's well over 100 hours or something. Where to begin with that? I won't go too much into it, but I'll say that the ending wasn't great. And I remember when it did officially, when it wrapped up officially, people kind of cried out like, "Oh, the ending there was terrible." But it's fairly consistent with the show, in my opinion. The only thing that I did see at the end is that the last season was wrapped up almost kind of too quickly. I mean, you have the first 2, 3, 4 seasons, 10, 11 episodes. The last season is 8 episodes, and they went through things really quick. I felt like things were rushed. Characters were just kind of dismissed in the end. I'll leave the details out on that again. Star Wars Clone Wars. Small backstory. They started season 7 way back when, and when Disney Plus finally took off, Dave Filoni was given the green light to more or less wrap up the series, which he did. I think before, when they got cut off, they only had like 4 episodes in the season 7. They were just given the green light to wrap it up, bring it up to episode 12. Yeah, so, but that's actually really cool though, because for all you Star Wars fans, it walks Ahsoka Tano, Darth Maul, and all of them all the way up until Order 66. So it shows how they survived that, which is also really cool. It shows the climb of Ahsoka Tano, who was at her peak, was able to best Darth Maul without any lightsabers. And on the opposite end of that, it shows the kind of decline of Darth Maul, who technically I think he peaked off just before that, as far as power wise. But that's a whole different story. Anyways, Clone Wars is done. Then there's Star Wars Rebels, which I went through 4 seasons of that. That's a lot too. That was at least, do the math, 4 seasons of an average about 10 episodes, 20 minutes each. No, it's actually like 20 episodes for some. Anyways, forget that. That's a lot. Either way, it's another series I knocked out. That's really cool. As far as the main cast not being too strong, it did explain a couple of things. Rex comes back as an old man, an old Clone War veteran who made it out of Order 66. Obviously, Ahsoka Tano's there. It shows her as more of a neutral character, but helping rebels in a sense. The fall of Darth Maul and how he finally caught up with Obi-Wan, but since Darth Maul His powers and his skill is as a deteriorated state. Old man Obi-Wan Kenobi was able to basically samurai him in like 3 moves. It's just kind of anticlimactic. It sucks, but hey, whatever. Aside from my readings, so on a daily basis for a good, again, 2-3 weeks, I would wake up, eat breakfast, go on my walk or run, come back, get cleaned up, and then I'd go back into hour shifts of either playing games, reading video games, or social media. And it was kind of nice because also at every hour I do either push-ups or like scissor kicks or pull-ups or something. So I was also staying physically active, which that was also taking a toll. Like if my legs were hurting, my chest and shoulders were hurting, my abs were hurting from all these things. I think this week off has been nice in that sense. That's one positive thing aside from physically slumping and mentally slumping, and I've given my body a rest. Anyways, readings. I finished this book by Mark Susak called The Book Thief. I have it on my top shelf. I'm not going to get it because I got to move a lot of shit around. That was kind of cool because I started that before my last semester at State, and I was able to wrap that up. This group I'm with, we're going chapter by chapter at a very slow pace of Revolution Betrayed by Leon Trotsky. It's really nice because it gives an analysis of the Soviet Union after Vladimir Lenin died. This is for those of you who are into socialist politics, which if you follow any of my videos as far as where I mention my politics, revolutionary politics, socialist politics, I study that stuff pretty well. I won't say too much about it, but I'll go into the book at least. People like to make the association from Lenin to Stalin, and actually that's not the case. Those are just broad, sweeping, very shallow phrases that hold no water essentially when someone actually looks into it. So there's that. Revolution Betrayed, still doing that. We're on chapter 5 now, so we've been doing that for about 5 weeks. And then I guess just to double up, Revolution Betrayed was written in the 1930s, and the context of the writing itself took place from the early 1920s till the late 1930s. And to kind of piggyback up on that, I'm reading another one of Trotsky's books called The Third International After Lenin. So, historically, once the Russian Revolution took place after 1917, they came up with essentially something called the Comintern, the Communist International. This is peculiar because, how do I address this? Because the moment you even start speaking about it, it becomes slightly polemic. So, why would the Comintern need to exist? Because the idea of socialist revolution is to spread the working class revolution to every country in the world, essentially long term, and to create a greater society, as Marx would say, a communism. But there's a lot of explanation needs to go behind that because it's not the communism, let's say, of China today or the communism of Cuba throughout the 1950s, 60s, 70s, or even like communism of, I don't know, Vietnam or Viet Cong or whatever. Like, again, I don't want to get too into the history, although I could. I find it very fascinating. But anyways, the transition from Lenin to Stalin also took place on an international scale, and a very careful look of the political theory from Lenin to Stalin is very enlightening. Again, I think, as I mentioned, to say the least. Again, even talking about it becomes polemic, so I don't want to get too into that. Maybe I can if someone asks for it, whatever. That's my readings as of right now. I've slowed down, obviously, my mental slump, but I should probably knock out that book, although a lot of Trotsky's readings are really dense, and it's partially why I enjoy it, because any sort of political theory book, political thought book, you need to slow down when you read. I can't power it out like I can some fiction book. some fiction book, that's my elitist term, as like Book Thief, where I can power out pages, turn over a page of a minute. No. Political theory, you need to slow down. You need to read it. You need to digest it. You need to go back and tie it to the page before, to the chapter before, to the section before, whatever. Anyways, there's that. As you can see, I have a haircut. I went really short. This was recent. I think kind of one of the major benchmarks of my slump was that when I had my long hair, it was starting to drive me nuts. Kind of like I laugh at myself because I compare it to, have you seen Napoleon Dynamite? There's Pedro, where he just decides like, oh, it's really hot, so damn computer. Excuse me for a second. Anyways, Napoleon Dynamite Pedro. He just decides like, oh, one day it's really hot, and he just decides to shave his head. I was borderline like that. Also, kind of like Britney Spears, who just goes nuts. I wasn't going nuts, but I did need a haircut. My long hair was driving me nuts, and so one on the sides. And while I did a natural kind of scissor on top only, I went over it again with a 6 guard, which I think next time I'm gonna go 5 guard. But that's almost back to where I used to be, even before I started growing out my hair. There's that. I guess I'm gonna keep this one short because maybe I'll make another video later, catching up on political news. Income wise, I'm actually not doing too bad. So I'm not gonna give away my full numbers, but got my $1,200 check from Trump, as I joked, Trump's socialist check. I split that up accordingly, and I think the significant part is I put about $600 of that, about half. No, or maybe it was $900. I don't know. Either way, maybe I should check. This is part of my slump where I'm losing track of these things. Anyways, so whatever money I put into my credit card, I still have yet to come back past that benchmark. So while that's a lot of money, granted that it's been about 4 weeks, I'd say that's not bad. I'm going to make up a number. Say, let's just assume I put $600 in my credit card. I'm still about $100 short from spending that $600. So I spend about $500. Again, these are rough estimates. I'm not going to say my real, but that's basically where I saw it. But that doesn't even include the rest I put in my savings or the rest I left elsewhere in actual cash that I have yet to spend. So again, that's not bad. As the kind of money thing cranks over, I think I mentioned before, I have yet to file for unemployment. This is more of a principled thing. Why? Maybe call it pride. Some can call it pride. I'll take that criticism. And someone call it free money, but I don't know. Maybe it's just principle. Maybe it's just pride. Like, I don't want to take the unemployment if I don't need it. And so far, I haven't needed it. And with any luck, I'll get a job within the next 2 weeks because my friend from the county finally said, hey, the interviews are coming soon. And from there, it's about a week till I'm finally first day on the job. So with that sort of optimism, if that goes through, I won't be filing for unemployment at all. So, okay, there's that aspect of it. So stimulus check. Haven't filed for my tax returns yet, although I could still do that if I need more money. The county job still looking promising. The federal job got a little bit of bad news, but it's kind of a mixed blessing, if you will. So the federal job, turns out that more or less my application was almost assured to get looked over because of some format issues. Now, I did receive advice on how to fix that, but since the county job's coming back quicker than I thought, there is take the federal job and move out of San Diego and really complicate things between my girlfriend and life here, or take the county job and stay in San Diego. Obviously, that's there. And actually, I think that I don't know if I mentioned, the county job pays a little bit more better up front. So there's that. So the federal job, take that out, but there's the backup that if the county job for some reason doesn't go through, I can take my advice on the application and apply for another federal job later. But aside from those two, so aside from the federal, aside from the county, there's Burlington, which the manager called me a while back, saying that they're deciding, the company's deciding on the first when they're gonna look to open. That's when they're even coming to the table to even look. So they haven't decided yet. But on these texts I've been getting from the county, it was like a voluntary sharing information type thing. They said that come this Friday, they are looking to let some businesses in San Diego County open back up with some restriction, or granted that they have a plan to kind of keep people safe. And so basically said on Friday, if your company can come up with a plan to help keep people safe, then these following stores can open. And they gave a list of stores that fall in. And among that list are clothing stores, which technically Burlington falls under. So could that mean Burlington could open if today is the 6th, today is Wednesday? They said on the 8th, which is Friday, they were going to put that out for companies. So it means, I guess if Burlington does that, they could open up as early as next Monday, or maybe the week after that. That's still week 8, week 9, 10 weeks. So I mean, yeah, I guess if one starts to lose oneself in these kind of daily grinds, it seems like a long time. But as I remember from looking into early information on the coronavirus, especially in China, people in China were kept in, like literally lock and key. Here, I at least say they please stay indoors, please. I haven't heard of any people receiving citations for leaving the house, which they haven't done. Yeah, they're closing beaches. Yeah, they're telling you to leave. I don't believe anyone's getting a citation on that. Although things are coming to a boiling point there, which maybe I can talk about tomorrow. But yeah, in China, they were kept in, and there were people in entire apartment buildings were given news through a speaker outside. I mean, that's China for you. We don't have that here. So, I mean, if they've been in for over 3 months, that's at least 3 times 4, 12 weeks. And we are on week 7, week 8, on the verge of opening. That's not too bad, or at least for us here. I mean, as far as what it means in the grand scheme of things, that's something else. And whether or not the numbers of the U.S. or whatever are great, something else. Oh, bit of also good news. My girlfriend tested clean on Monday for coronavirus, which kind of gives me a huge relief. So if on the beginning of week 7, I've been clean, that she's clean, and me and her have been hanging out together since, believe it or not, then that means I've been clean for the last 5 weeks. Which is kind of nice. Doesn't mean I'm going to go out there crazy again, but it just means that whatever precautions I've been taking has somewhat paid off. Maybe. Can I take stock in that? Sure. Maybe it's just luck. I don't know. Anyways, that's me for now. I'm going to take a late walk. I need to do shopping soon. And then later today, that's it for now. I'll try to see you guys again tomorrow, if not Friday. I want to make another video before this week. Later.